Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about toilet paper. To be more specific, I'm talking about the very human experience of walking into the bathroom with your toilet paper spooled all the way to the floor. Today, we're going to do a very beginner-friendly 3D modeling project and 3D printing project to help design a solution for this exact thing. We'll go through the tools and my exact process of how I design products. Let's get going. First step before we can actually design a solution is to really understand your problem well. Now we know giving this a good tug is going to free spool the toilet paper, but the main culprit is the fact that there's no resistance. Since it's just a circle on the inside of this roll, nothing is stopping it other than just friction on the actual holder from continuing to spool. So right off the bat, we know the solution needs to change with the shape in the center. Next, we need to take some constraining measurements to understand what we're actually working with. The two measurements we'll need are the inner diameter of the toilet paper roll, and then also we're going to need a rough measurement of the distance here so we know how much space we need to actually leave for it to fit on a holder. Now, these sell in lots of different shapes and sizes, so we'll want to be as conservative as possible with the amount of space we have in the hole, so that way it can fit on a variety of toilet paper holders. This leads me into the first tool when getting into design that you're going to want. Now this is a manual set of calipers. They're not expensive and you can find them locally or online. I would recommend making sure that the ones you get are solid metal. There's a lot of ones out there that are plastic. I'm sure they work fine, but they just don't feel as good in the hands, and really they're not any more expensive to buy the full metal design. One other thing you'll want to keep note of is that, as surprising as it may seem, different brands don't follow the same guidelines. So this toilet paper brand actually has a smaller hole than this other one. I believe this is a less common type of toilet paper. It's kind of like, I don't know, fancy toilet paper, I guess. This is more what I'd expect to buy, like your Angel Soft or Cottonelle or whatever. This one's bigger, so I'm actually going to design for this because it's more common what we have in our household. Next step is to come up with some ideas. So first thing for me is different shapes, right? So a circle is going to be the problem we had originally where it free spools. Now an oval is going to kind of give a bumpy shape to the spin. So that will help mitigate. We could also do like a half circle potentially. That could be a good idea. We could do a rectangle. That would be really rough and might make the pulling pretty hard. We could do kind of a triangle in the inside. That would also prevent it from free spooling without being pulled manually. And of these shapes, I think the ones that are probably the best are going to be these three. So let's go ahead and design three different spools with those shapes internally. So what that's going to look like is the outer diameter that will slip into the toilet paper roll itself, and then we can do a triangle on the inside where the actual holder for the toilet paper gets placed in between. We're now on to tool number 2 that you need for this project, which is a 3D modeling software. My recommendation, if you're just getting started, is go and get Tinkercad. It's free, it's online, it's really easy to use, good spot to learn. I'm going to use Shaper 3D. I've been using it for the past year, and it's a pretty decent software. So let's dive in and look at the actual 3D modeling process. So here's Shaper 3D. The first step in this is actually getting my sketches out. So we'll go ahead and place a sketch here. And we need 3 different designs. So I'm going to create 3 circles that are the inner diameter of the toilet paper roll. It's 42 millimeters in this case. And then I'm going to actually do a pattern on this so that way if I ever make changes to the diameter of that, I can just change one dimension and it will change the others. So there are my 3 toilet paper rolls. Now there's one other consideration we need to make, which is the inner diameter of the toilet paper holder that we're actually going to put it on is 27 millimeters. So anytime we have a space in the middle, it will need to fit that. So let's start out with the oval. So first I'm going to just move this over by 5 millimeters, and we'll grab the ellipse tool here, drag it up, and I'm just eyeballing it at this point. So 27 millimeters is the inner diameter, so 14 millimeters radius times 2, that brings us to 28. So there's 1, and that should be good. Next up, we will go ahead and do the half moon. Let's go ahead and offset this by 4, and then we can just grab this tool, and let's do another 20, let's see, 26, 27, 28, and then we'll grab this and bring it up and down. And then we can trim this outer piece here. Go ahead and make this a construction line so that way it doesn't interfere when we extrude everything. And the last but not least is the triangle. So I'm going to grab the polygon, and now this is the one that might not actually work. So let's go ahead and bring it out to 18 if we can, and then bring this down to 3. And what I want to notice here is originally I thought this might be a good idea, but if we drag from here to here, we're looking at 27. So really this is not a shape that's going to work. So if we go ahead and undo this, this shape actually might work better just doing a hexagon. So let's leave that in there and see how it turns out. Now that we know this will fit on the spools, we need to go ahead and extrude them. I already did the measurements and the toilet paper rolls are 100 millimeters. And then last thing I like to do is just clean up these edges a little bit so it's not so rough. And whenever you have a print that is directly on the print bed, straight flat corners like this are often quite sharp. So giving them even a 0.5 millimeter chamfer is nice, but we'll see if we can get away with a 1 millimeter chamfer because that will be even better. And I think that's a little bit too much, so I'm going to change that to 0.5. Looks great. Let's get this off the printer and we'll bring it over to the table. So here we are. Here's our 3 designs. First thing to test is, do they fit in the center? And look at that. This one does fit, which means the other 2 will. So let's get these up onto the actual toilet paper holder and see how they roll. So test number 1, we'll go ahead and use the oval first. Get that slipped right on there. And you can see that one still slides pretty good. But here's the action on the side. So this one actually doesn't help too much. I think the fact that it's circular isn't giving the resistance that we actually want to see. So let's go on to number 2. Now we'll do the partial circle. If I can focus there. Get this guy on there. Ooh, look at that one. That one works much better. So with a hard enough tug, it still goes, but it's not going to free spool because it's catching on the area, so much so that it actually is not moving the internal part. So we could probably make this like 42.5 millimeters if we really wanted to make it stick a little bit better. But overall, I think that's working good as well. Last but not least, we'll go with the hexagon. That one for sure does the trick as well. Hard enough pull, it works, but it's not going to just keep spinning. So clearly this project is a little silly to begin with, but these are honestly something I did want to design so I can use them around my house. But more importantly is the fact that this is really how the design process works. It starts with a small idea, something that bothers you in your personal life, and from there you can use 3D printing to design a solution that works. If you're still here, thanks for sticking around. Just quick update on the business side. We are still at about 2 sales per day so far this year, so things are going well. I really appreciate you guys' support. If you have any more questions, let me know. I just did my taxes, so I will have an upcoming video kind of on best practices, and I actually have a book I would recommend to everybody to read, so watch for that in the future. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.